You know, for the last decade or so, the entire digital economy has been built around one single powerful idea: price. But what if that whole foundation is starting to show some serious cracks? In this explainer, we're going to dive into a pretty huge shift that's happening, a move away from money that's all about price, and a look at what could come next.
I mean, everything was about watching the charts, right? We were all hypnotized by those green and red lines, watching our fortunes go up or down, literally second by second.
And how did we measure success? Market caps. Billions, sometimes even trillions of dollars. It was a simple formula. The bigger the number, the more important you were supposed to be.
The whole system really just ran on chaos. These absolutely wild, unpredictable swings, they weren't a bug in the system, they were the main feature of this price-obsessed world.
And what that really meant was that the main thing people did wasn't building cool stuff or actually using the technology. It was speculating, just placing bets on where the price would go next.
Bitcoin, of course, was the poster child for this whole era. It was an incredible piece of technology, a masterpiece of digital scarcity that created this massive global market based on, you guessed it, one thing: its price. But, as we're about to see, that world is starting to change, and fast.
The ground is really shifting now. The very things that let these price-first systems grow so big are now becoming their greatest vulnerabilities. Think about it. Bitcoin's value isn't just there. It's built on a whole stack of external things. It needs constant demand from the market, tons of liquidity on exchanges, and, just a good vibe from investors. And underneath all that, it relies on incredibly energy-hungry mining and some huge cryptographic assumptions that we've all just kind of taken for granted.
And today, every single one of those foundations is getting squeezed. Quantum computing is on the horizon, threatening the very cryptography it's built on. Governments are waking up and demanding real compliance. Big institutions have risk models that speculative assets just can't fit into. All this creates a deep, deep structural fragility.
So, this leads us to maybe the most important question for the entire digital economy over the next 10 years. What happens when value is no longer something you discover on a chaotic open market, but something that's enforced by the internal rules of a system itself?
And that very question leads us right to Pi Network. See, Pi wasn't designed to be a better, faster Bitcoin. It was designed to be the answer to a completely different question, running on a totally new model.
This slide really gets to the core of it. It's a philosophical split. The Bitcoin world is constantly asking, what is the price? Pi Network, on the other hand, asks, was value actually produced, verified, and executed? The focus shifts from just a number on a screen to a provable record of something that actually happened. And this is only possible because Pi was built from day one to be what you could call a post-market system. Its value is designed to come from verified contributions, not from market hype. It's built to be compliance-ready, and this is key, aligned with automated AI systems from the get-go.
So, you really can't think of Pi as just another cryptocurrency. It's more like an economic operating system. It's a completely self-contained world where value gets created and managed based on its own internal rulebook without ever needing to look to an outside market to tell it what it's worth.
So this new model completely changes what it even means to be a participant. Because when you take away price as the main focus, you also take away the incentive for speculation. So what are you left with? Something totally different: execution.
Look at all the regulations that are coming. They're all designed to get rid of market manipulation and crazy volatility, the very things that fuel speculative markets. For most of crypto, this feels like a huge constraint, a threat even. But for a system like Pi, which doesn't rely on those things anyway, all this regulation just feels like a confirmation that its design was on the right path all along.
Inside Pi's architecture, all those classic speculative games just become pointless. You can't run a pump and dump on something that doesn't have a market price. Hoarding doesn't get you very far, because value comes from contribution, not just owning a bunch of it. The entire game of speculation just becomes obsolete.
So you're probably asking, if there's no price chart, what do you look at? Well, value gets measured by something called contribution coordinates. The system asks a series of questions. Who made a contribution? What utility was actually produced? How consistently was it done? Under what logic was it verified? And finally, what was the overall impact on the system? This set of answers becomes the new ledger of value.
All right, so let's zoom all the way out and look at where these two different paths are actually headed, because these aren't just two different technologies, they really represent two completely different worldviews about the future of our economy. You can really see the split right here.
Bitcoin is designed to compete inside the market system we already have. That means it's always going to butt heads with regulation and face new risks. Pi is designed to replace the market system itself. That makes it regulation native from the start and structurally way more stable by its very design.
And honestly, this isn't just a crypto story. It's mirroring a much bigger shift that's happening everywhere. We're moving from a world of just owning assets to one where we participate in systems. We're going from relying on open markets to trusting verifiable protocols. We're shifting from chasing price to demanding verification.
This quote just says it all perfectly. The goal was never to create a stable coin or a less volatile Bitcoin. The real breakthrough was to build an economic model where the whole concept of speculative price doesn't even have a place to live.
Which leaves all of us with a final, pretty provocative question. As this new economic model starts to take shape, the choice isn't just about which asset to bet on anymore. The real choice is, are you going to keep playing the old game, chasing the next price cycle, or are you going to start participating in building and operating the next economy?